Good evening, Yankees Nation. This is Ken, and you're here with the ugly truth. Uh, this is going to be a later edition than normal. Real life took its part in my day, so my normal 10:30 a.m. Segment is now shifted to 6, especially since we had a hey Susan, how's it going? Since we had a day off and no play-by-play this evening, so I figured that I'd move it back later, possibly to give some more folks the opportunity to to hop in. Hi, Susan and Natalie. The topic for tonight is going to be Yankee fans know more than management. Jake, welcome. Uh, I should have a hey Nancy, how's it going? Should have a special guest here join me in just a little bit. Uh, it'll be Jason from 161 River Ave, and going to go over some of the things that I've been hearing lately, whatnot, whether it's been in the Twitterverse, other content creators, and whatnot. Uh, However, it should be a fun conversation. As usual, I'm going to open it up for an open panel, and I invite everyone to hop up and say their piece. Uh, if you could give me a sec, I forgot to grab my water bottle, so I will be here back in a sec. And I'm back. Natalie's Anna spelled AUNT, not ANT. She's not a bug. I'm going to bring up some of the comments that I've gathered through my various Twitter searches and conversation talks. All right, laughing out loud for me, Jake. I'm still kicking Boone for putting lasagna in when he was sick for Game 2 of the Red Series. That was a winnable game, and it's still bugging me. I'm trying to move on. I can definitely understand that. All right, let's go. We'll start it off with this lineup stinks. We need to add players now. Know that you've heard that one. How about why is our lineup garbage? Why are we punting tonight's game? All right. Then there's the standard fire Boone and Cashman. They stink. There's some more explicitives there that I'm not going to do at this time, especially since my 11-year-old granddaughter is listening. Uh, why are the Yankees cheap? And this is not a championship roster amongst many of the others. All right. Hey, Jonathan, welcome to the stream. I've got my AV tech expert asking me questions. Excuse the interruption. Uh, so obviously, there's a lot of fans, content creators, and whatnot that feel that they're smarter than the folks in the front office. I'm going to pull up some things from this past off season. During the off season, the fans really called for the Yankees to bring in Blake Snell, Roki Sasaki, Christian Walker, either Willie Adames or Alex Bregman, and Tanner Scott. All right, so let's break it down. Blake Snell, he signed a deal with the with the Dodgers. It was a 5-year deal, 182 mil, about a 36 mil AAV. This season, hey, Joe, welcome to the stream. This season, Blake Snell is 1-0 with a 2.0 ERA and 4 Ks. He is currently on the 60-day IL with a shoulder injury. Second starting pitcher that everybody wanted and had to have, Roki Sasaki. He signed a rookie deal because he was under 25 with the Dodgers, and his deal was a $6.5 million signing bonus, and he could cartel that over his 6-year period with the Dodgers to up to $200 million. So that remains to be seen, and it's just an estimate because he's making league minimum as it stands. However, on this season, Sasaki is 1-1 with a 4.72 ERA. He has 24 strikeouts, and he's currently on the 60-day IL and has been shut down with no marked data return. What was management's countermeasure? Let's see. We signed Max Fried to an 8-year contract, 218 mil, a little bit high. This season, Fried is 10-2 with a 1.92 ERA and 104 strikeouts. Currently, Max Fried is the MLB wins leader. In strikeouts, he's 4th in the AL, 11th in the MLB. In ERA, he is the 2nd in the MLB. All right, let's see what Susan has got to say here. All right, Susan, I don't think it's smarter. It's a question of how long cash to bring big money players. Even if we did, no guarantee that it would work. I'm glad we got Max, and we could use another starting pitcher. Could be. And let's see. And we have my special guest, Jason from 161 River Ave.
What's happening, man?
Not a lot. Let's see. Yassine asks a question. Ken, would you trade for Jacob deGrom if the Rangers decided to trade him at the deadline? There's not a chance in hell that I'm trading for Jacob deGrom. That guy has a $37 million AAV contract. He has an extensive injury history. Could he help us for 1 year? Possibly. Will he be around for the next and us paying a chunk of cash? I don't know. All right. What do you think, Jason? Are you going for deGrom if he's made available?
I think that the first two questions that come to my head are how much are the Rangers willing to eat of the contract, and who would we have to give up for Jacob deGrom? Before I even say no. That'll be my third thing. I'll probably say no after I find out those two things. I think it's at this point. I don't think it's worth it.
Okay. Let's see. Some of our other fan requests during the offseason was everybody had to have Tanner Scott. Tanner Scott was the man. Scott signed with the Dodgers. It's funny how the Dodgers signed a lot of these players that we're going to talk about, and they're not really working out for them. But they've got a truck to pay for them, that's for sure. Let's see. Tanner Scott, he signed a 4-year deal, 72 mil with the Dodgers, $18 million AAV. On the season, Tanner Scott is 1-2 with a 3.65 ERA, got 16 saves, and he has 5 blown saves. what was our corresponding move for management? We made a trade. We picked up Devin Williams from Milwaukee for Nestor Cortez and Caleb Durbin.
Caleb Durbin, that's right.
Okay. His contract is a 1-year deal left, 8.6 mil. Currently, he's 2-2 with a 5.08 ERA. He has 10 saves, 1 blown save, but he does have 7 blown holes. Early when he was first starting with the Yankees, he just wasn't doing well. Didn't have good command of his stuff, and historically for him, he hasn't pitched well in the colder early months of the year. Who wins that one? Is that management, or is that the fan request?
Right now, probably management, but I think it's. I'm going to wait until we see what he does later on in the season. Historically, he gets stronger as the season goes on, and we're seeing that now. So, the last 3 seasons, he's finished with an ERA under 2. So, if you can get close to that, that'd be a huge win for management. And if he gets to the point where he can secure a pretty significant deal, then you can maybe consider offering him a qualifying offer and expecting him to turn it down and get some draft pick capital in return. But I think he'd have to go back to to the previous years again, that type of performance, in order to even consider giving him a QO.
Okay. All right. And let's see. Christian Walker. Christian Walker was definitely the fan favorite in the offseason. He signed a 3-year deal with the Astros, 60 mil, 20 mil AAV. On the season, he is hitting 214, 10 home runs, and 37 RBIs. Management's corresponding move was, and it was highly, highly disliked by the fan base, Paul Goldschmidt. 1 year, $12.5 million deal. Goldie is currently hitting 288 on the season, 8 home runs, and 32 RBIs. Plus, spectacular fielder.
Yep.
Management or fans?
I think management did a good job there.
Yep.
And, it also, again, creates an opportunity. So next year, if Ben Rice becomes the option for first base and Goldschmidt doesn't come back, the path is clear for him. It just creates an opportunity. And then, what better mentor at first base right now than Paul Goldschmidt for somebody like Ben Rice? So have a veteran who's an elite defender mentoring him at first base. That's a pretty darn good mentor.
To answer you, Jonathan, there is an open panel just going over some stuff, and I will drop a link here in a bit. All right. Let's talk about the people that we didn't bring into third base. First one, third base or second base, because they could have gone either place. Willie Adames. He signed a 7-year, $182 million deal with the Giants. $26 million AAV contract. Currently, he is hitting 207 with 9 home runs, 34 RBIs. A lot of money for somebody who's doing the same thing as Oswald Peraza.
Yeah.
Second one, Alex Bregman. Signed with the Red Sox. 3-year deal, 120 mil. AAV of 40 mil. This year he's hitting 299, 11 home runs, 35 RBIs. But he is currently on the IL. Hey, Celia, how you doing?
I think he was better suited for Boston anyway. He batted almost 400 at Fenway, and he batted under 200 at Yankee Stadium, so it just made more sense for him to go to Fenway Park. And he wasn't a guy that I was going to give the same amount of money per year than Aaron Judge. So I think he's in the right spot for where he's at. So good for him.
For me, Bregman, I saw him as a disruption to team chemistry.
Me too.
I'm not sure how much the fans would actually have accepted him. Bregman has, to me, he's had an injury history too,
Hmm.
and I'm not a big fan of players who tend to get hurt. And the other option that we didn't make the trade for, but keeps circulating like a freaking buzzard, is Nolan Arenado.
Yep.
I read 3 more articles today with Arenado coming to the Yankees. I'm like, big contract, declining skill set with regard to the bat. Why?
Yeah, that's still being kind of floating around there. I have a feeling it's going to continue to float around. I do think the Cardinals are more eager to trade him and keep Brendan Donovan. So it makes more sense for that Arenado to somewhere circulation to keep happening in the next couple of weeks. I think they would be happy to move on from him.
All right. And the big ticket item, Juan Soto. Yankee fans wanted him back at all costs. Obviously, we didn't sign him. He chose to go with the Mets. 15-year deal, $765 million, AAV of $51 million, currently hitting .256. He started to heat up. I know he hit a couple of home runs the other day or yesterday.
I think he's got 18 home runs this year. Every single one of them has been a solo home run.
Yep. 18 home runs. And who was the Yankees' corresponding move? Cody Bellinger. All right. Cody Bellinger is all right. Might have lost Jason there. We'll see if he comes back. Comparatively, the money for Bellinger versus Soto. Soto obviously is a far superior offensive player and will get the ticks, but average RBIs and whatnot, there's not that big a differential between Soto and Bellinger. Will Soto outrun Bellinger when it's all said and done for the year? I think definitely so. However, compare defense. Don't think there's a comparison whatsoever. All right. All right, let's bring what Susan has to say. We always knew that he would sign with whoever paid him the most. Happier with Cody, Max, and Goldie. Well, I am too. When we look at it, though, the Yankees management has made some pretty solid fundamental decisions about the team and where we're going. There are a lot of people who have the narrative that we're not going to add players at the deadline. I just don't see it happening. I think that we will definitely add players at the deadline. Are they going to be the folks that are the shiny toys out on the market? I don't think so. Not necessarily the best fit either. All right. About that. Honestly, Celia, I am not sure if our record is actually worse than it was last year. Let me check on that real quick. So we as fans, what do we feel are the right moves to make uh, at the deadline? Oh, I guess I need to hit the enter button so that the link comes up. Hey, D Train, welcome to the stream. Welcome, Jonathan. Bringing you up right now. Let's see. At 80 games in 2024, we were 51-29, and we are currently what 46-34. So 5-game differential. All right. So what do you know, Jonathan?
Well, I know that Wander Franco got in trouble again. The breaking news on Wander Franco is he's sentenced. He's guilty and he was gets suspended sentence.
He gets a suspended sentence?
I just it was just reported by ESPN.
All right. Let's see. We have Jason back.
What's up,
And
handsome?
he's back.
Hey, did you get the news I sent you about Franco?
About what?
Wander Franco.
Oh yeah, he was found guilty. Yep, he's guilty. Yeah, I know the prosecutors are looking for 5 years for him. We'll see if they actually get it, but he was officially found guilty a little while ago. Sorry, but I got booted. My wife called me and I got booted out of everything.
Yeah,
Hey, it's real life. It happens.
it says here Wander Franco was found guilty and received a suspended 2-year prison sentence.
Suspended 2 years? How does that?
That's what it says, and that's what ESPN reported. So I maybe the chat with more knowledge of the law understands this better than me.
That just seems insane.
What? I'll send this article to you, Ken.
All right.
I mean,
Suspended.
hey guys, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. I send it to you.
All right.
Why?
That is disgusting, Susan.
Yeah, it's when you're a big, well-known player, you shouldn't be hanging around with 14-year-old girls.
I don't know my.
Yeah, you might be in a bad reception area, Jason. Did you already call up the lineup? Or not the line? I'm looking at Somerset. Somerset is playing today, not the Yankees.
Nope, did not look at them.
Yeah.
Was just talking
I'm
about.
here. I'm hearing a rumor that Schlittler might get called up.
I'm
You guys see that?
hoping so. I
I'm
haven't
hearing a rumor that
I
they
haven't
might call up Schlittler to pitch in Winans' place the next game.
I haven't heard anything about that. I've been looking, but who is sending that rumor?
It's somebody on the inside saying that they
Well,
might be potentially
they're not posting it.
looking
They're
to call
not
him up.
posting it publicly.
I just don't know if it's going to be in Winans' place or someone else's place.
Did you happen to catch Marcus Stroman's start at Somerset yesterday?
He didn't do very well.
Yeah, he got hit pretty good.
Do you think
Probably
that there's
needs another
any
start.
chance in heck that we're going to be able to bring this guy up and showcase him for anything?
No. I don't think, even if you bring him up, I don't really think there's enough time to showcase him for anything unless a team is desperate for a starting pitcher. I don't see it.
Yeah, Lou, simply amazing.
We'll see.
And welcome to the stream.
That's an interesting one, man. That's an interesting one. Because teams have already expressed interest in him now that they know his option won't be exercised.
Well, maybe
Throw another arm,
maybe
in
maybe
rotation or
Cashman
long relief or
has
something.
something up his sleeve, and he'll be traded by the deadline. They have less than 5 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll be busy. He'll be busy.
Yeah,
His next
I
5
I,
days.
ex-
He'll definitely be
I
busy.
expect a busy trade deadline. The deadline is
Me too.
5 weeks from today. 5 weeks from today. So
Yep. And that's also DJ LeMahieu's deadline. For those that don't know, the Yankees imposed the deadline on DJ LeMahieu as well. No.
yeah,
And it's basically
I
a
think
deadline to say you either have to
if
perform.
if he didn't perform, they're gonna drop him.
Probably DFA him or put him on waivers or something. It'll be easier for them to move on from him now. I mean, last year they tried to DFA him, and Judge and Rizzo kind of interfered and stopped it from happening.
Rizzo is no longer here, and Judge is playing.
Yep.
Well, Judge is playing like he's on top of the world, although he slowed down a bit.
Who's that?
Judge. What do you think has contributed the slight slowdown of Judge? Do you think he just I see that he chases a lot of pitches out of the zone when he's struggling.
Well, I think one of the issues is when the whole offense is struggling, maybe he's trying to carry the weight a little bit more, and so he does a little bit more than he needs to. But I'd rather have somebody struggle and hit 360 than someone struggle and hit 260. So
of course,
I'll still take that.
I think that some of his struggles are umpire induced
Yeah.
because he gets some of the worst call
That too.
strikes on him
That too, yeah.
on the freaking planet.
This is true. My God, this sky is dark.
Is it going to rain by you?
I'm going to pick up sushi for my eldest daughter. She wants sushi for dinner. No.
Got to take care of the
old.
princesses.
She wants sushi. Yep. I want sushi day. So that's I got my marching orders.
You don't have any delivery services around you?
It's not worth paying $15 for. That's why I got a car. I just drive and pick it up. Get out of the house.
Well, good thing. Good thing that
They've been driving me nuts for the last 3 hours anyway. Yeah, the
Let's
girls have been
see.
driving me nuts for the last 3 hours anyway, so I can get out of the house for a little bit.
Susan said more concerned about Wells and Volpe.
Yeah,
And-
Wells and Volpe need to
And
improve.
Celia says, I feel that Wells and Volpe are dead spots in the lineup.
Well, they definitely need to improve. They're going through a sophomore slump.
Shit.
Well, I mean, Wells' slump started in August of last year.
Yeah.
So when is it a slump actually to you are what your numbers say you are?
Well, let's put it this way: both of them will probably be given one more year before to determine whether they can be a full-time player or not, and then the Yankees will determine whether they need to bring in someone else or use someone else from the farm.
Yep, Lou Volpe is definitely not a sophomore.
But he is.
All right, news popped up. All-Star Phase 2 finalists. Leading vote getters for the AL and NL are Judge and Otani.
No surprise.
Big surprise there.
Yeah.
No.
God, these parking spots. Why these cars parked so close to each other? I'm driving a Suburban. I can't fit in any of these parking spots.
All right, Celia. If you were to move on from Volpe, who would you move on with?
That's the question, and nobody seems to be able to answer.
Well, that answer would be much easier if Cabrera was still on the team.
Cabrera's not a shortstop. He wasn't a shortstop ever.
Yes, he was. He was signed as a shortstop.
And let's see. Yassine says trade for Zach Neto.
No.
From the Angels, that's not going to happen. And just like trading for Jacob Wilson from the A's is not going to happen either. A lot of people are pushing for that, but why would the A's or the Angels get rid of those guys? They're like cornerstone building blocks.
They're not. If the Yankees wanted Wilson, last year would have been the time to trade for him.
Yeah.
Hey, Sean, welcome to the stream, brother. Appreciate you being here. Sean Browning brings up a tandem from the Reds that I've mentioned in the past, Abbott and McLean.
Abbott, possibly.
Yeah. McLean's an infielder, right?
Yep. He was playing second base for him in the series that we faced off against Cincinnati, but he is also a third baseman.
So they could play him at third and put Jazz at his more natural position at second.
Well, that's one of the. I don't care if we
Theoretically.
trade. I don't care if we trade for anybody. I would prefer to put Jazz at second anyhow, and put Peraza at
Same.
third as the permanent third baseman.
Yeah, that's well.
Peraza.
Cabrera, I would put as the permanent third baseman.
Yeah, but Cabrera's not here. You're
I
talking
know,
the lineup now
I know, but you're talking about a permanent third baseman
for this season.
for this season.
I mean, are you going to bring Yorbit Vivas up?
Maybe he's doing pretty well.
Yeah, but the problem that I saw when Vivas was up with the team before is he has a big hitch in his swing. His swing is very long, and it
Well,
makes it difficult for him to catch up with fastballs.
just like Cabrera, he might need time. When Cabrera, for the last 3 years, we've seen Cabrera on the roster, or maybe 2 years. He wasn't nearly as good as he was this year when he was playing every day. So you need to, in order to really see what a player is, you need to play him every day, regardless of the outcome.
So you're willing to cash in the rest of the season to see how these guys do.
Not this season. I'm talking about in general to begin the season. This season is already almost halfway over. So
Yeah, we're at 80 games.
Yeah.
Hey, Joe, how's it going? Welcome to the stream.
like there's gonna be a couple moves, and there always are moves, right? For who and what we're gonna trade, nobody knows.
Well, in your opinion, do we need to go after a starting pitcher?
We should go after one starting pitcher and then probably an infielder, a third base.
So no bullpen whatsoever. Ride with what we have.
Bullpen, I think the Yankees are pretty set with bullpen. I think they can call up a couple guys from the minors if they don't trade him, such as Brendan Beck. I think he'd be a very good piece, one option, and Beater. Beater could be a good bullpen guy right now.
So if you're looking,
Remember,
for
everybody loves the Yankees pitching, and it's not until they trade them that we really know what we have. So we should use the pitchers on the roster when we have them, at least.
so you bring Beater or
Back.
up, who's off the roster.
Well, off the roster.
Yep.
Well, Beater, first of all, is on the 40-man roster.
Yep.
That would be a change. Maybe you drop a guy like Hamilton. Hamilton hadn't done much. Maybe you put Yeli De Los Santos on the 60-day IL.
So if you were to drop him to the 60-day IL, when would his return be?
Probably not for the rest of the year. You can maybe try to trade Tim Hill.
So you're willing to go without a left-handed arm in the bullpen?
I don't know what I don't know what we can get with Tim Hill, but Let me see.
I'm gonna run into the restaurant. I might get cut off. If I do, I'll probably try. I'll hop back.
Brendan Jack, 26 years old.
Not a problem.
I'm sure there are a couple options that we're not thinking about of what to do. Zach Messenger probably could be used in a trade.
Trade for what?
I don't know. He would have to be part of a package. I have no idea. He's going to be a Messenger is going to be a Rule 5 guy. So, look, I don't know exactly what.
Just asking questions, Jonathan.
I understand. I just have no answers. I'll just put it this way: the Yankees will be very limited on on a lot of options ever since we lost a lot of trade capital in the last 3 years, and the Yankees don't have very much trade capital unless they want to go into the lower levels of their farm system.
Would you consider moving either Trent Grisham or Ben Rice?
It depends on the package. I would consider it if the package is good enough.
Okay, what would be a good enough package?
Well, if Grisham and Rice, maybe for those two, I would get. I might want a third base. I would definitely want younger players. I don't know what would be a package. Younger players and maybe some prospects, like a third baseman and some prospects. But then we would have to, if we traded Rice, Cody Bellinger would be the primary first baseman.
Most likely, yeah.
So it will all depend on the package. I would not say no about trading those guys, but it always depends on the return. Because if you trade those two guys, you have 2 roster spots to fill out.
Would you consider bringing TJ Rumsfeld up?
Yes. I would bring in TJ Rumsfeld if we traded Rice. I think Rumsfeld is ready for the major leagues.
Joe brings up a point. They still have to bring up somebody for JC Escara. Who do you think that may be? Have you heard anything since you're
I think they should bring up Jesus Rodriguez, but I haven't heard anything. Let me double check. I haven't been online I haven't been online for the last 4 hours. So the only reason why I know about Wander Franco is it was reported by ESPN.
D-Train asks, is TJ a better hitter than Rice?
He had pretty good numbers in the minor leagues. I think his numbers right now, he has 9 home runs, 44 RBIs, and a 286 average with a 372 on base percentage in AAA.
You said 372?
372 on base percentage.
Okay.
So he's putting up pretty good numbers for AAA. He could be promoted. And he's mainly a first baseman, so he wouldn't have to learn the position.
No, he's a solid first baseman.
So
And Yassine asked, what about a trade of Brock Burke from the Angels or Andrew Nardi from the
I don't know if Nardi is hurt or not. Let me look up Nardi. I know he was a name floated last year, but Nardi is on the 60-day IL, so we're not trading for him. I knew he was hurt, but I'm not trading for anyone on the 60-day IL.
of course.
I knew he had an injury history, and I'm very hesitant of trading for anybody that had an injury history, especially as severe as someone like that. That's one reason why I never wanted a guy like Montas.
Yeah. And do you know Brock Burke?
I don't know very much about him. Let me look at him.
He's not on my radar, so I don't know anything about him.
I've never heard of him, but let me look at him. He's a lefty pitcher. He's a relief pitcher, 4-1 with a 4.11 ERA. He's 28 years old. Last year he was traded. I mean, maybe, but the question is, what would you get for Buck, and is that any better than what we have now? I mean, I don't know. I don't know about trading for him. I mean, is he really any better than Tim Hill? Tim Hill had better numbers than him. So why not just keep Tim Hill?
Let's see. Brock Burke has good fastball and breaking ball run rate.
His ERA is a 1.5 above Tim Hill's.
You know, doesn't walk people. Has extension, so his fastball looks a little bit faster. Batting average against him is 256. 4-pitch selection, 4-seamer, slider, changeup, and a sinker. So that tells me there that he was a starting pitcher at one point. Not sure. One of the people from the Marlins system that I think could be done in a 1-for-1 swap is Ronnie Henriquez for Everson Pereira, because one of the needs of the Marlins is outfield help. So you're trading controllable asset for controllable asset, and they've got a little bit of depth.
Well, if they can make that trade 1-for-1, I would do it.
He has some flaws at his breaking stuff, but if there's a guy that could straighten about, Matt Blake is probably it. And you could see a possible metamorphosis from him, similar to what you saw with Jazz.
This guy, Ronnie Enriquez, he almost reminds me of a Tom Gordon type pitcher.
Exactly. What do I think about trading for Yoad Moncada?
No.
I think Moncada is actually on the IL right now. He's a heavy hitting bat. His fielding at third base is probably close to league average, and he has a pretty extensive injury history.
What team is he on now?
He's on the Angels.
Angels.
I mean, if you're looking third base trade, somebody that's out there that he would probably be equitable to, Andahar. Andahar and he would be probably pretty close mirrors for defense at third base and hitting ability.
And Moncada is also on the IL.
Yeah, I thought I read something about it after we played him the last set that he went on the IL.
If a player is currently on the IL, I'm not trading him for him. Unless they want the trade, I'll trade them Moncada for Stroman. That's the trade I would make.
Well, it's expiring contract for expiring contract because they're both free agents at the end of the season.
That's the deal.
Do you think that Andahar would be happy coming back to the Yankees?
He probably would be happy, but I don't think the Yankees would.
Andahar is playing for a team that has little to no hope of postseason play whatsoever. So making the jump from that to his old stomping grounds, I don't see why he would not be in favor of it.
Yeah, Andujar would be happy. Yankees would not. Anytime you go from a losing team to a winning team, you're always happy. So, of course, the player would be happy. And they're getting paid regardless.
Landon reports that the Marlins just beat the Giants 12-5.
Well, that's good news, but we want the Rays to lose.
Yeah, they already cleaned up this afternoon.
Well, I didn't see that, but unfortunately, they did not.
Yeah, they shut out the Royals.
I see that now. Yeah, the Rays. I think the Rays are the biggest threat to the Yankees for the East.
Lou, the score was 4-0.
4-0. Dodgers won also. Blue Jays won. Tigers won. The Mets game is about to start, and the Twins are leading.
And let's see, Yassine, Kyle Finnegan, and Ahmed Rosario. Would love to have Rosario. I think he would definitely be an infield asset. I like the way that he plays. Finnegan, I mean, he could bring something to the bullpen, some help that we need. Question is, if the Nationals were willing to move both those players in a trade, what would it cost us?
Probably going to cost quite a bit. And remember, even though we don't think so, the Yankees are also not trying to add so much money to the roster.
I think we've probably got right now about $13 million to play with.
Yeah, especially if we play, and a guy like Finnegan, Currently, he's 0-2 with a 2.89 ERA with 18 saves. The Washington and he's the main closer for Washington. Washington
Bye, Natalie.
would not. I don't think he's on the trading block. I think Finnegan, as much as people like him, he's not gonna be traded. Because I don't know if the Nationals have another closer. Why would the Nationals make the trade?
Well, the Nationals actually DFA'd him last year.
Well, the Yankees should have got him when he did that.
He was DFA'd last year, and they brought him back this year on a 1-year deal. I don't think it was for much money. I know that I watched him pitch against the Diamondbacks. All right.
Well, Finnegan was a free agent last year for 4 months, from November to February. The Yankees could have easily picked him up.
Yep. And Jonathan, we know this. He is definitely Hal is definitely preaching profit and loss. He's not going to go crazy with spending. Yeah, I don't think he's going to go crazy with spending either, but his World Series payroll last year was $316. We're currently at $303.
So he wants to lower payroll, and realistically, the only way to lower payroll for the Yankees is to develop good young players from the system. Because if you have a young rookie that comes up and can be a starting pitcher, you're paying him major league minimum instead of $10 million or $15 million. That saves a lot of money on the payroll. So that's another problem with trading all these pitchers in the last 3 years. Even though, yes, we got to the World Series and we got Soto, but you see now the payroll restrictions, basically self-imposed restrictions.
All right. Answering a question to Yassine, what about a trade for Jake Bird and Seth Halverson from the Rockies?
I would prefer Jake Bird.
Jake Bird has been one that Jason has been very high on, and Halverson was my sleeper pick. Would I like to have both or either? Sure. Would not have any heartburn about that whatsoever. They're high velocity pitchers, high strikeout rate. I think they could probably take it to the next level, getting away from Coors Field, because that is the highest altitude ballpark in the country, and breaking stuff just doesn't work there, as we saw during our last set.
Yeah. Currently, Bird has 56 strikeouts in 44 2/3 innings.
Unfortunately, we'd be trading away our young players for teams other profiting from our trades. Well, Susan, if we don't trade some young players away, are you willing to sit and hold with what we have? Do you think that the roster is capable of carrying us to the promised land of number 28?
I think this roster is incomplete. And another starting pitcher would help. The only reason why I don't think we would get a starting pitcher is if the Yankees think that Lewis Hill will return shortly. And if Lewis Hill returns, that's essentially the same as trading for a starting pitcher. So why trade for a pitcher if you're just getting Louis Hill?
For me, there was a lot of concern from fans about the walk rate and his wildness towards the latter part of the season. I think that that's personally attributed to the amount of innings that he pitched as a starter. It was almost twice as many as he'd ever pitched professionally, and frankly, I think he was just worn out at the end of the season.
Yeah, he needed to. I think at the end of last season, he needed extra rest, especially after the Yankees won the division.
The the point with bringing Hill back now is he would definitely pitch a shortened season. He would not be worn. They're treating him with kid gloves. I wouldn't be surprised to see him come up to the majors late July, early August timeframe.
Probably another 4 weeks.
Gives him if we do make playoffs, it starts with Judge.
Well,
Not sure exactly what that means.
Here's
Landon.
something that just happened, and then this is in the minor league game in AAA. Brian De La Cruz just took the centerpiece of the They just took Kyle Harrison deep. So Kyle Harrison was the main piece the Red Sox got from Rafael Devers, and he just gave up a home run. AAA. But
All right, folks, we have passed our hour mark here, and I'm going to go ahead and shut her down. If you haven't, what about a trade for Willie Castro and Duran from the Twins? You seen, I definitely would not be opposed to that trade. Castro would shore up the. I'm not sure how long he is available for. The Duran portion of it is more interesting to me because of the I believe he's got 2, maybe 3 years left on his contract. He's been one of the top bullpen arms closers this year. And with the impending free agencies of Devin Williams and Luke Weaver, that may be a good move, setting us up to bring one of the two back. Which one it would be, I'm not sure.
at this point, I think if the season ends now, I might choose to bring Luke
Weaver
back. I think he's just been more consistent in the Yankee uniform.
I think that he will probably be the priority for us. I can't really see them chunking out a big chunk of change.
Do you think they will offer either of them a qualifying offer?
Historically, looking at the qualifying offer, there have only been 2. Kenley Jansen was one of them. It's going to be probably about 21 mil. So are we wanting to bring a bullpen arm back for 1 year at 21 mil?
If he takes it.
He could go for stability of a longer term contract and opt out, or do the 1 year.
If he pitches well, both those guys could get upwards of $60 to $70 million in a multi-year deal, maybe more.
All right, Susan, here's a question for you. Michael King, if he's available in the offseason, would you really want to bring him back with the rotation that we would actually have when Cole and Hill return?
I'm not sure.
Sergio, welcome to the stream. Glad to see you hopping on. I agree with you. The offense has been the problem. There are some hiccups out of the bullpen. What can we expect from Cole?
Next year. Right now, that question cannot be asked right now.
Answer.
Cole will be next year. Will be pitched back next year.
Well, one of the things that, and a lot of people tell me I'm full of crap, that I would like to see addressed at the trade deadline is that for a player that is actually a leadoff hitter.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Who would that be? Someone who can play third base?
Yep. I mean, Sergio brings up a great guy. I don't see that the Yankees could possibly get him since the Diamondbacks just extended him, but Gerardo Perdomo.
Boyce Terang? Yeah, maybe. You think Milwaukee would trade him?
Don't know, because Milwaukee they've moved a lot of players and still seem to be competitive.
Well, then that means they got a lot of good pieces back.
Yeah. I mean, the kid that they got from us that's playing second base for him.
Durbin was supposed to be our starting one of our starting infielders before they announced he was going to be starting a second baseman before just like a day before the trade.
Yep.
So maybe we can trade back for Caleb Durbin.
Not sure what his numbers are this year. I saw that when I was watching the Brewers in a couple of games, he had 2 game-winning walk-off hits. So
Caleb Durbin, 236 with 4 home runs, 29 RBIs.
what is David Robertson doing right now?
He's probably a free agent.
Well, no, there's not a problem. He is a free agent.
I don't
And
know what he's doing. He's waiting to get a phone call to be announced. He's waiting. He's waiting next to his phone to maybe get an opportunity to pitch again. I don't know. The problem with David Robertson that if you wanted him, you should have signed him. You should have got him at the beginning of the season, because even if you signed him right now, he would need about a month to get ready. So he probably wouldn't even make it your playoff roster. So forget about Robertson.
let's see. Sergio says, I'm trading Lombard.
No,
Yankees window is closing with the Stars being older.
I'm not trading Lombard. I'll probably trade anybody else before Lombard. I would trade Arias.
Hung Ho Lee.
don't
Sergio,
know.
is that the outfielder from the Giants?
I wanted him. I wanted him when he was a free agent. I thought he would be a good player. And the Yankees don't take advantage of the Asian market like they used to.
And do you see the Mariners trading Luis Castillo? I definitely see the Mariners trading Castillo. They want to drop that big contract and free up some salary for him.
I think they want to trade him, but they're not going to get the package they're looking for. They're gonna have to. If they want to dump his salary, they're gonna have to take less than they expect.
Yeah. He's what, 22 and a half?
I don't know his contract.
And Sergio, I'm not sure about the love of prospects because they bring them up and they damn sure don't play them. Fulmer got DFA'd from the Cubs.
It looks like there's a weather delay in Somerset, and the game will start at 7:30.
All right. All right, folks. We are well over an hour into this stream, and I'm going to shut it down. But before I do, I'd like to thank everyone for hopping on and taking time out of your Thursday evening. Most appreciated. If you haven't, please hit the like button. If you're not, please subscribe and share this channel out. Programming notes: Joe on from NY Yankees Mania is going to be holding an event at 7:30 this evening, so not too long from now, and he will have the coffee, bagels, and donuts breakfast show tomorrow at 8:30. I recommend hopping in there. Generally a good talk, good conversation. Tomorrow, sometime in the afternoon, I'm going to do a pre-series review for the Angels and the Yankees, and then I will be calling the play-by-play at 7 o'clock tomorrow night right here on NY Yankees Mania. So would like to see y'all hop in and say hey. Most appreciated. And final words, Jonathan?
Let's hope for smart moves for the Yankees coming up. I don't expect anything for another couple weeks at the earliest, but hoping for, JC Escar coming back to the lineup tomorrow and hopefully a win.
All right. And I will end in my customary let's go Yankees, and we'll see you in the funny pages. Have a good evening.